Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
A handful of Tasmanian SES members has travelled to the water-ravaged regions. Flood expert Audrey Lau is one of 4 staff who will help New South Wales emergency service teams. She'll assist in the Incident Control Centre in Wollongong. The crew will also help with information gathering, media requests and weather warnings. To state politics and allegations of a relationship between Jane Howlett and the Jack Jumpers CEO taken an ugly turn in Parliament. The Premier and Rebecca White have accused each other of misleading Parliament as Labor pushes its agenda for an independent inquiry.
Unveiling plans for a new mental health facility at St John's Park, Jeremy Rockcliffe was forced to address more pressing issues, accusing Labor of slinging mud all week in Parliament following Jane Howlett's departure from the front bench.
The Premier is satisfied with the reasons that Ms Howlett resigned from her ministerial portfolios.
Inside question time, the Premier and Beck White accused each other of misleading Parliament about the reason behind a visit by Simon Brookhouse to the Legislative Council. Labor claims Josh Willey ran into the Jack Jumpers CEO and Jane Howlett together late at night.
Mr Brookhouse was already in the building in the company of Ms Howlett before speaking with the member for Elwick. Will you correct the record for the false claims that you made yesterday?
Look, the advice that I received is what I provided to the Parliament yesterday. I've got nothing more to say.
In a statement, Tasmania Jack Jumpers Chairman Karen Nylander said Jack Jumpers CEO Simon Brookhouse did visit Parliament House on November 16, specifically to give Josh Willey Jack Jumpers merchandise at his request, and there has been no conflict of interest between the organisation and the Tasmanian government. Labor says the issue goes to the heart of the government's integrity, pushing for an independent inquiry.
Mr Brookhouse was in this Parliament yesterday. Did you meet with him?
Are you absolutely certain that he was in the Parliament
That's my
yesterday?
understanding that he was.
Speaking for the first time on the record, the Jack Jumpers have categorically denied Mr Brookhouse visited Parliament yesterday, while the team's coach wouldn't be drawn in on the rumours.
Again, if you want to talk about basketball, we can talk about basketball, but I'm not a politician. I don't go down that road. I go here to do my job. That other stuff is meaningless to me.
As debate gets uglier, the government has called on Rebecca White to correct the record and will inform Simon Brookhouse of his right to raise the allegations with the Privileges Committee. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
3 people have been taken to hospital after a car and bus collided in Youngtown. The crash happened around 4 p.m. on the corner of Highgate and Waroona Streets near Youngtown Oval. Locals say near misses are common at the intersection. Those transferred weren't seriously injured. Up to $200,000 worth of damage has been caused to a Bridgewater unit, which was completely gutted by fire last night. A 46-year-old man was located nearby and arrested in relation to what police have described as a deliberate blaze. Investigators returned to the scene today and are appealing for anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. A hooning rider has been banned for 4 months after being caught driving 70 kilometres an hour over the limit. Police intercepted a black Aprilia sports motorcycle travelling at 183 kilometres an hour on the Bass Highway near Hagley around 4 p.m. yesterday. Along with the ban, the 49-year-old from Victoria was docked 6 demerit points and a penalty of nearly $1,000. Tasmania has recorded a significant spike in COVID cases, with 1,117 new infections detected across the state, up by nearly 250 compared to yesterday. 12 people are in hospital with the condition, 3 of which are in intensive care. Vaccination numbers continue to climb, with nearly 98% of Tasmanians aged 16 or older now double-dosed. Independent MP Christy Johnson says a tax targeting empty homes is needed to solve Tasmania's growing housing crisis. She says supply is already available, with new Taswater data showing more than 550 properties across Hobart and Launceston are a high chance of being vacant.
Provide stable and secure accommodation to people much in need. Indeed, the Premier could take this easy step to incentivise and release housing stock.
Housing Minister Michael Ferguson has rejected the idea, saying a new tax won't improve the situation. Meanwhile, the state government has given a glimpse into a new mental health facility in Hobart. The $21 million project will provide 27 new short-term recovery beds. A coroner has found a man who died in a single vehicle crash in the state's north last year was highly intoxicated. Stuart Clyde Dew Freeman, who was the sole occupant, died from chest and abdomen injuries after his vehicle left the road and collided with a tree at Mount Direction. Mr Freeman's autopsy result showed he had a blood alcohol reading of 0.173, more than 3 times over the legal limit. He was also not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. It has been confirmed Basslink was forced to reduce capacity on its fibre optic cable yesterday due to a fault on infrastructure owned and managed by another party on the Victorian side. Basslink says it's reduced capacity to allow repairs to go ahead. The network fault was repaired overnight and telecommunications are now operating as normal. The state government has rejected claims Aboriginal land rights will be compromised under the truth-telling and treaty process. The Aboriginal Land Council is concerned the current land handbacks model will be dismantled.
It's a real worry that we were making progress and now all of a sudden we've got this jump back to where we were 12 months earlier.
This is a government that is very committed to reconciliation, and this is a government, of course, that wants to see more land handed back to the traditional and original custodians of this land.
The Premier announced on Tuesday an Aboriginal advisory body will be established to work with the government on a path to reconciliation. Sporting clubs in the northwest are banding together to propose upgrades to their shared oval. Backers of redeveloping the Devonport Oval say the new venue would serve the community well into the future, but they'll need to find the funds to make it happen.
A pristine surface being prepared for its day on footy's biggest stage, as Devonport Oval's usual tenants unveil plans to redevelop the site.
The co-tenants came together and realised that they had to work together when thinking about the long-term plans for this site.
The great thing about this initiative is we've got all sports, all users of the precinct, all combining together to get the best out of any investment in infrastructure.
They say the city's outgrown its old facilities and they want to future-proof the sporting community.
At our club rooms and the general infrastructure around the Oval, it's really sadly lacking in investment. It has been for the last 20 or 30 years.
A new indoor basketball facility would be constructed, along with club rooms for all to use.
Increasing the number of courts, from our perspective, we've got big participation. Our junior rosters now, primary school rosters over 2 nights, and last games are at 8:30, 9 o'clock.
The Devonport Athletic Club says new club rooms would allow them to show off its vast array of memorabilia.
6 months before Kathy Freeman won the gold medal at the Sydney Olympics, she won a race at Devonport Oval.
This is an opportunity now where we can actually put it into a venue where people can actually see it.
The cost is estimated at $50 million, and federal Labor have already promised half of that. Those behind the plan are hoping the Liberals and other levels of government will jump on board to make this field of dreams a reality. The council's supportive of the plan, but not yet endorsing it.
It's really important that whatever we do is a multi-sport venue, so that's a really good start.
The state government says it's focusing on upgrading Penguin's Dial Range facility, but it will meet with users in Devonport too. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Greens are once again calling for an overhaul of Tasmania's animal welfare laws. New Racing Minister Madeleine Ogilvie was grilled about the subject during question time today. Greens leader Cassie O'Connor says the government has failed to deliver on their commitments.
We need to have a very robust Animal Welfare Act, and the government promised changes to strengthen the Act 6 or 7 years ago now, and they haven't delivered them.
The Minister telling Parliament a review into the Racing Regulation Act has commenced, with animal welfare to be a key focus. A Woolworths delivery driver has had an unusual workday after finding a rogue feline in the back of his truck. It's believed the furry hitchhiker climbed on board at Midway Point, travelling around 25 minutes to Newtown. It's currently residing at 10 Lives Cat Centre. The hunt is on to find the original owners. Connoisseurs will pour into some of Tasmania's key wine regions for the annual Southern Open Vineyards weekend. Festivities include tastings, tours and live music, with more than 30 local labels set to display their top drops.
Each of those producers are going to be showcasing their wines, inviting people onto their property. Many of them don't have dedicated cellar doors, so it's a really gorgeous opportunity.
The three-day event recently received federal government funding under the Recovery for Regional Tourism program.
West Coast has thrown Tasmanian Hugh Dixon a lifeline. The Eagles are offering the Kingborough product a rookie contract after he was dumped by the Dockers after only one game. The 23-year-old impressed recruiters last week when he kicked 2 goals in a practice match in Perth. The club says Dixon could not have done any more to convince the Eagles he deserved this chance. The Hobart Hurricanes are hanging on to teenage spinner Will Parker. The 19-year-old has signed for another year after playing 2 games in the last BBL season, including one where he hit 25 not out against the Scorchers after coming in at number 10. Hopefully Parker has more luck than in his last outing playing club cricket in Victoria on the weekend. His sweep flicked off the fielder's helmet, gifting the keeper an easy catch. Bad luck. The Jack Jumpers are bracing for a return to Launceston's Silverdome ahead of their Indigenous round clash with the New Zealand Breakers. Scott Roth has commended his side's grit as a young guard returns to the lineup after a successful international campaign.
Fresh off the World Cup stage, Sean McDonald is swapping out his Boomers colours for now.
Shots up and it's good for 3. Sean McDonald, beautiful pin down screen.
Returning to the Jack Jumpers lineup.
Anytime you get to put on the green and gold, it's pretty special. And to do it for the senior men's team was just pretty surreal.
After suffering back-to-back defeats, the side hopes a road trip north will turn around their fortunes against the bottom of the table Breakers. But coach Scott Roth doesn't want complacency.
We have to be on point and be sharp, and we'll see how it goes on Saturday. Looking forward to being on Launceston, without question. That's going to be exciting for us.
Some of our members up there haven't been able to make it to games yet, so we're definitely pumped to get up there and play in front of them.
Backing in his lineup to fight back in the crucial moments.
We've fought through some things, and I think our last 2 games, showed a huge amount of character of what I've seen around the league.
Ahead of the NBL's significant Indigenous round, the club spent today learning about the state's Aboriginal history.
The jerseys look fantastic, and to be on property here is just a significant step for us as the Jack Jumpers in our first year.
A particularly special partnership for the local artist who designed this weekend's jersey.
I'm pretty proud to have my design on the jerseys and to be able to be a part of the whole kind of concept of promoting Aboriginal values in Tasmania and the Aboriginal community.
Will Magnay will remain sidelined due to injury, but a decision on Matt Kenyon is yet to be made.
It's just a matter of tomorrow, see how he feels, and if not, he'll be ready to go for sure next week.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmanian News.
The Bendigo Spirit has doubled down in Tasmania. The visitors beating the Southside Flyers for the second time in a week overnight, 78-70. It was anyone's game until the final quarter when the Spirit fought back from a 3-point deficit to win by 8.
Good evening. Hobart recorded 26 today, 27 for Launceston, a little cooler over the northwest. A steamy 29 for Grove, Bushy Park and Ouse. Temperatures generally above average, but some up to 10 above average in the west. Strawn 28 degrees, Flinders Island 26, King Island 25. In the east, Friendly Beaches 24 and St Helens 23. Now here's the satellite image with the cloud pattern over Tasmania, not containing any heavy rain today. Things might change tomorrow. There is thick convective cloud over northern WA at the moment, with a band extending down to South Australia, and extensive cloud over the eastern seaboard, as we've gotten used to. Tomorrow, a low approaches our northwest as the associated front crosses over Western Victoria. Troughs continue over the north and east. East nor'easterly winds again, 15 to 25 knots, easing during the day, and a lighter wind or 2 over the west and south. Swells at 2 metres in eastern waters. Minor flood warning for the South Esk River, a final flood watch for the northeast. Here's the forecast for tomorrow, 26, a humid day and partly cloudy for Hobart, Huonville 28, up to 27 for Campania. Launceston looking for a high of 27, similar sort of forecast, 22 the top for Devonport with a shower or 2, a 70% chance at least, 23 the high for Georgetown. Burnie expecting 22 with showers increasing later in the day. 26 for Strawn, a late shower, and Wynyard, showers increasing 22 the maximum. 22 also for St Helens, Swansea 23, Port Arthur 24, bit of cloud and the odd shower. Here's the UV, up to 9 tomorrow, and that's very high. Saturday, showers with some possible heavy falls and maybe a thunderstorm over the north and east. Showers easing on Sunday as they contract to the east coast during the morning, and on Monday find apart from a late shower over the southwest and the east coast. Sunny in Perth tomorrow, 29 the top there, partly cloudy in Adelaide, a humid day for Melbourne, cloudy in Canberra, showers for Sydney and Brisbane. Mostly sunny, 23 in Hobart, sunny in Launceston at the moment, 24 and 21 in Devonport. Kim, very interesting. Of all the important stories we've had tonight, we've had viewers wanting more information about what's the best diet. Food for thought, isn't it?
Oh, spare me. Good night, Murph. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.